Hey, welcome back to another episode of Just Call Me Josie. In today's video, we are going to be doing a Shop My Stash palette of the week. So the purpose of this Shop My Stash palette of the week series is me utilizing one palette exclusively for an entire week and forming hopefully a solid opinion about the palette at the end of the week after having used it thoroughly. So for this week I chose to focus on the Colourpop Yes Please palette since it is one of the palettes currently in my everyday makeup drawer. I want to see if I feel stuck, if I feel like the palette is really limited in the amount of looks that I can create, or if I end up really enjoying it. So I would just go over quickly 3 of the looks that I created using the Colourpop Yes Please palette throughout this week. So first I picked up this medium brown called Note to Self and put that in the crease quite blown out. And then I focused this red matte shade called Spoiled lower into the crease. And then I used some concealer to carve out the eyelids to make sure that this yellow shade called Mischief would show up really vibrant because it does need a little bit of help. And then I just sharpened up the cut crease line using Spoiled on a small pencil brush. And I placed the darkest shade, which is called French Kiss, on the outer V to get some definition to the look. And then I smoked out the red shade all over the lower lash line, as well as a little bit of the shade French Kiss to deepen it up. And finally I took the matte cream shade called Full Sip and brightened up the inner corner while still keeping the whole look matte. Okay guys, so here we have the first finished look for this week using the Colourpop Yes Please palette. Moving on to the second look, I used Big Cocktails, which is an orange, all over the crease. And then I used GNO just lower in the crease as well. And then to add some drama, I used the shade French Kiss and packed that all over the lid as well as into the depths of the crease. Then I used the NYX Vivid Brights eyeliner in the shade Vivid Fire to create a wing. Once again, I smoked out the lower lash line using the red shade Spoiled. It is so beautiful on the lower lash line. To finish off the look, I used the shimmery shade Butter Cake to brighten up the inner corners. So here you have the second finished eye look for this week. For the third and final look that I did on camera for you guys, I used Champs, and then I used the shade Big Cocktails as my crease shade, and I sort of winged it out a little bit. I also did the same thing with GNO, just keeping it a little bit lower in the crease. I wanted to add a little bit of drama to the outer corners, but nothing too heavy because I wanted to keep this look rather fresh and light still. So I just used a little bit of Spoiled on the outer corner. Then I packed Louis on the outer third of the eyelid, and then I packed the shimmery shade Chafour on the inner part of the eyelid. I added some extra glitter with the NYX crystal liner in the shade Crystal Silk, and I just placed that as sort of a half cut crease. I added this gorgeous red metallic shade all over the lower lash line. I put just a teeny bit of Mischief on the inner part because I couldn't help myself. I absolutely love this yellow. And then I finished it off with Butter Cake on the inner corner. So here we have the third and final look using some of the shimmers in the Colourpop Yes Please palette. I must say that I actually like this palette more than when I did before I put it in my everyday makeup drawer, which is kind of cool. Before this week, I would actually say that the Colourpop Double Entendre was my favorite Colourpop palette, but not anymore. This one has taken first place after using it religiously. I feel like I can create so many more variations of looks using this palette than a Double Entendre. The Double Entendre is a bit more limited, where this one gives you a lot of options. I did not have a hard time coming up with looks for everyday using this palette at all, so that was quite a nice surprise. I love that the palette has a whopping 8 matte shades and only 4 shimmer shades. I feel like that really enables you to create a lot of different looks. This is, however, the most dirty palette that I have in my collection. It gets so freaking messy, and the shades are quite powdery when you sort of going back and forth and dipping in the brush a lot of times. You get crazy amount of kick up, and that definitely aids in the palette getting super dirty really quickly. Also, it is white packaging, so if you're a neat freak, then you might drive yourself insane using this palette, just saying. One thing I did notice is that if you're someone that likes to layer up like several shades in the crease to get that super blown out look, which I personally like to do, they sort of tend to not stick as well when you're on the third or fourth color. Also, Louis had some major trouble sticking to my eyelids as well. I have it on the lid right now, and Chafour is showing up a lot more vibrant than this one. This one sort of just fell off my eyes somehow. I don't know how that worked because I did actually spray it as well, but it sort of just disappeared, unfortunately. So I would say the Chafour is definitely the better shimmer. The best shimmer though is Bling. This is absolutely gorgeous, super metallic, it doesn't fade at all. I mentioned before that Butter Cake is my least favorite shade because it is so crumbly. So these two are my least favorite shimmers. Still usable, no doubt, just not as high quality as the other two shimmers. Another great thing about this palette is that if you are a beginner and you haven't really used these types of shades before, maybe, you could pretty much just close your eyes and put some of these shades blindly on your eyes and it would end up looking good, because absolutely every shade in this palette vibes really well with everything else. So overall, I feel like I can more confidently recommend this palette now. It does also have a great price tag compared to a lot of other really warm tone palettes using the sort of reds and oranges and yellows. I absolutely adore the yellow shade Mischief. It is so freaking stunning. I love putting this on the inner corner, all over the lid. It just, yeah, I've fallen in love with this shade, and I have tried to restrain myself on using it in every single look, even though I did really want to, but it was in most of my looks this week. So those are all of my thoughts on the Colourpop Yes Please palette. I will insert some arm swatches right now so you can see all of the shades swatched out. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like this video idea, and if you want to see me do more palette of the weeks with the upcoming Shop My Stash palettes. Also feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you on board, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Take care until then. Bye!